This Hunter build is absolutely insane. It has to be one of the most fun builds I've ever used, and I can't believe I didn't use it sooner. We have unlimited abilities that all cause huge scorch damage, and we'll be setting off ignitions left and right in an endless loop. This build doesn't use any seasonal mods either, so you can use this exact setup for the foreseeable future. But before we get in the build, I gotta give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video. If you're playing Destiny, you know that a lot can happen in the blink of an eye. Whether you one-phased a boss, wiped the enemy team, or just died in a hilarious way, you'll never miss those moments again thanks to Outplayed. This game capture software is lightweight and can automatically capture footage for you based on a number of different parameters that you set. It has instant replay built in as well, so you can always capture those candid moments as they happen. When you close your game, Outplayed will pull up your latest session and you can edit and export clips directly from the app. The best part about it, it's completely free. Use my link in the description to download Outplayed and try it out today. Huge thanks for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to the content. As you can tell from the background gameplay, this build gives us unlimited abilities in a seamless loop. We are able to throw our grenade and instantly get it back with our melee, and every time we use both abilities, we instantly cause a solar ignition. By using our dodge and our abilities at the right time, we always have something off cooldown to throw at our enemies. This loop gives us huge damage and has to be one of the most stylish playstyles I've ever seen in Destiny 2. The exotic that makes this all happen is the Young Ahamkara Spine. This improves our trip mine grenade by giving it increased duration and blast radius, and it also makes it so any ability damage we deal grants us our grenade back. This forms the loop of the build. You open with your grenade and follow up with your melee to get your grenade back almost instantly. We are using Knife Trick here, as each individual knife will proc Young Ahamkara Spine, and that's how we get our grenade back so fast. Looking at the subclass, I am using Blade Barrage as it deals huge single target damage. We will take Gambler's Dodge as it is essential to the build. This will refund our melee instantly and is a vital part of the ability loop. If we don't quite get our trip mine back instantly, we can dodge to get our melee again, which will then ensure that we always have our trip mine. We will take Knife Trick, of course, for our melee, and remember each knife counts towards Ahamkara, so try to hit them all if you can. This will scorch the target and allow us to trigger an ignition after landing our trip mine. Obviously, we're using the trip mine grenade, and our first aspect will be knock 'em down. This improves our Blade Barrage super and allows our throwing knives to be instantly refunded on final blows when we are radiant. Then we take On Your Mark. This is mostly for getting as many fragment slots as possible, but the increased handling and reload speed after dodging is really nice. For our fragments, first we will take Ember of Torches. This grants us the radiant buff after using our melee. This will grant us 20% increased weapon damage for a short duration. Then we'll take Ember of Ashes. This makes all of our abilities apply additional stacks of Scorch and allows us to easily trigger those ignitions when we use both our trip mine and melee back to back. Third is Ember of Singeing. This will give us our dodge back quicker when we scorch targets, and this will be active nearly always, as either our grenade, melee, ignitions, or weapons will be scorching targets. Our fourth and fifth fragments can be tinkered with a bit depending on your preferences. Ember of Empyrean is good for extending the duration of Radiant and keeping it active all the time. It's great for general content when you want to spam knives at regular adds, but it does have -10 to resilience. You could also take Ember of Solace for increased radiant duration as well. I am also taking Ember of Char, which causes our ignitions to apply Scorch to nearby targets. This helps with getting our dodge back and grants +10 discipline, which is very helpful for the build. Now moving on to our mods, we'll be using our setup here to help cover one of the biggest weaknesses of the build, which is the lack of healing. Last season we had Classy Restoration to make us basically invincible, and now that's slightly more difficult. Combined with the stats we are aiming for, you may end up lacking a bit in the healing department. So we of course want to take Well of Life. This grants us healing over time when we pick up a solar elemental well. It isn't as strong as Classy Restoration, but it's a way of getting extra healing. I am pairing this with Elemental Time Dilation, which will increase the duration of Well of Life to give us more uptime on that heal over time. Then we will take Elemental Ordnance, which creates a solar well on a grenade final blow, and Melee Wellmaker, which creates a solar well on a melee final blow. Since we are always using these abilities, we can generate wells constantly. And finally, we will take Font of Might, which grants us a 25% increase to all solar weapon damage when we pick up a well, and the duration of this will also be increased by Elemental Time Dilation. If you make your Young Ahamkara Spine void flavored, you can use Bolstering Detonation and Focusing Strike, which will grant us class ability cooldown when using our melee and grenade, and helps to keep the loop going. For our stats, we want to aim for as close to 100 mobility and 100 resilience as possible. Mobility will be important for making sure we always have Knife Trick, which in turn helps us get our grenade back and really flushes out the loop. 100 resilience will help us stay alive and again helps us with the lack of healing available here. And finally, you can try to find a good balance between recovery and discipline. If you are having no problem getting your grenade back, you might put some more points into recovery. I would aim for at least 50 recovery. I'm a little low here myself, but I am also at tier 9 discipline, so I might move that around a little bit. I like to use Wither Horde in the kinetic slot for added damage over time, and it's easy to add into that ability rotation and keep it going all the time. Any incandescent energy weapon will pair great with this. Callus Mini Tool is fantastic, but the BXR Battler can be very fun with this build. You can go with Demolitionist and Incandescent for easier grenades and scorch damage, but you can also take Blunt Execution rounds on the BXR, which grants a 500% damage increase after dealing damage with a melee. It's basically a free one-shot on most adds after hitting with our knife. It's really fun to add into the mix. Pair this with whatever heavy you like. I prefer an auto-loading rocket just to easily add in some extra damage to the rotation. But that's going to do it for the entire build, guys. Give this a shot. It's a really fun build and much different than our Star Eater build from last season. I just wanted to mix it up and try something new, and I might end up doing a Caliban's hand build as well, so let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that. Thank you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to leave a like, and I will see you in the next one.